Right, Mark 3 Volkswagen peeps. Today we're gonna do wiring up the rear fog because you just weren't Euro enough. Just blew $60 to $80 on a switch that has this little guy right here, the rear fog, and you're like, man, that would be really handy to see behind me in the rain and whatnot. When you plug it in, you realize that North American cars have different taillight output, and thus there is no way for the rear fog to be activated. So today we're gonna fix that. Probably going to need are wire cutters, heat shrink, butt connectors, or electrical tape. Don't use any morettes, for God's sakes. If you need like 25 feet of 14 or 16 gauge insulated wire, I'd prefer white, maybe red. It's available and it'll be really handy to you for this one to make it a nice OEM job. Go to the junkyard and cut another headlight switch connector out of a junk car because you're going to. Okay, so Volkswagen in all its infinite glory actually did wire up the stock connector to be able to have the rear fog. They just never put the pin in the wire in, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Looking at connector, number 12, position 12 right there is where the rear fog is actually fed from. You actually do have the pin in the back of the switch, so what we're going to do is put the pin in. What you're going to notice, and what I would like you to notice, is pin 13 here is a big pin, while pin 11 is actually a small pin. We're going to need another small pin for your headlight connector. That's why the junkyard connector is going to come in. This is actually the switch from my GTI, and as you can see, I've actually already used this connector, as a pin is missing, but this is basically, we're going to try it again. So there's three ways to go around removing a pin from here. You can either buy the D-pin tool for like 30 bucks, but I'm cheap, so I'm not doing that. You can cut the ends off a bobby pin. Because it's a junkyard connector and I don't really need it for anything, we're going to take this gray and blue wire here at the end, and what I'm going to do is actually cut it out of its plastic casing with a hacksaw. Remember, when you're cutting, if you're doing it this way, is to go slow. You will feel when it stops becoming plastic and starts becoming the metal connector, and you don't want to cut through that because you need it. As you see, I didn't actually cut all the way through because I just wanted to grab it out. There's the locks for the pin that you would have to unlock to get it out naturally. That's the hard part done. That's the pin that we need. It's already connected to a wire. As you can see, it's pretty complex mechanism to get it to unhook, and it actually is a pain in the ass. If you're balling on a butt, or just balling, I'm balling on a budget right now, so I'm doing this. You can go to the dealership and pick up the connectors. I think they're like 9 cents or something, but that's. I like cutting things with saws, and I like making things, and I wouldn't be able to make this video as fun if it was just like, go to the dealership, buy a connector. Okay, making sure the connector looks like it's making a duck face thing, insert it into the 12 spot on the connector in your car, not the junkyard connector like I have, in your car! From this point, I'm going to have to just describe it because I didn't hook up a rear fog in my car. I actually used this for a second set of front fogs in my car. So you're going to run that 14 or 16 gauge wire from the wire you just inserted into the switch, out the back of the dash, and probably down the kick panels. And whether or not you're running an external fog or you're going to run the fog in the stock taillights, you're going to run it right to the back of the car. I'll tell you how to do the taillights in just a second. If you're running an external fog, like one mounted on the bumper or something, because you just want to be cool, I don't know, JDM tight, all you have to do is run the wire to the light and you're good, you're done. I've got the wire hooked up. I just didn't run wire in the bay yesterday because it was cold, and I've disabled the daytime running lights because I'm a loser. So yeah. Now you'll have fog, or parking lights with fog, rear fog, headlights, whatever. If you run a jumper, you can run just the fogs as your DRLs. So just having the fogs on with no headlights, and for being able to use your fogs with the high beams, you either need to run a jumper, which I can send a picture of, or you need a relay. It's hard to tell, but that orange relay there is a Bosch relay. I don't remember what the part number is, but I can get it for you. It's just a 4-prong relay that acts just like the jumpers and a bit safer. Okay, now for the stock rear fog. So on American cars, it's brake light, parking lights, but on European, it's brake light, running light, fog light. What a lot of guys will do, because it's way easier to wire, is they'll leave this as the brake light, they'll leave this as the running light, and they'll turn this one into the fog light because it's outside and it's pretty useless anyway. But most of you know me, and I'm way too anal for that, so I like making this the brake light, this the parking light, and this the fog light, because see, it's got the right reflectors and the hella tails for it. I was going to show you how to wire it, but it's really, really cold today with the wind, and I'm not feeling it. But I can show you the diagram, which is cool. For those interested in the rear taillight pigtail wiring diagram, I can draw it out and send it to you. I'm actually saving these videos to post on Vortex, surprisingly. I hope that helps somebody out. I mean, the nice thing is, if you can figure out the pin on the back of the connector, you can actually make the front fog switch work as a rear fog switch if you don't have front fogs. So until I decide to DIY something else, have a great day. I'm going to make a pot of mac and cheese.